Today we're going to cover on our sustainable transportation, focus on two different approaches. First, we look at TSM, which is a transport supply system, or sometimes they can call transport system management or transport supply management. And the other one is transport demand management, TDM. Okay, sustainable transportation. Okay, what we are looking at. Okay, sustainability planning is a development preventive medicine to the health. It anticipate and manage problems rather than waiting for a crisis to develop. Okay, this is quote by Todd Lippman. The one is expert on the scope of the sustainability and also to manage something to do with sustainable transport and sustainable management. Okay, problem of motorization in developing and middle income countries. This one is quite common. Okay, first traffic congestion. Okay, next traffic accidents. Okay, deteriorating urban environments, conflict between motorized and motorized transport, failure of transport to supply the poor in a non-subsidized commercial market, suburbanization and urban sprawl, and energy conversion and reduction of carbon monoxide or carbon CO2 emissions. This thing is quite common. Perhaps some of the issue we have covered already in the last lecture, but this is a quite common issue. Okay, a paradigm shift in urban transportation planning. So it's difficult of providing enough mobility which people wanted, even with all the serious effort in the past decade. So this is quite the challenge. So we think we want to give quite reasonable, or we want to provide something good to the community or to the society in terms of the transport management, transport mobility. So perhaps it will affect something. What we do, we will see the effect. Okay, why change paradigms? Our transportation system provides many benefits, but it also causes many problems. This one quite common also. It serves non-drivers poorly. It distributes benefit and costs inequitably. It is financial burdensome to household, government, and businesses. So we cannot run away from this kind of the issue or problems. Okay, it is increasingly inefficient due to traffic congestion, disperse of land use. It is a major cause of deaths and disability. It contradicts environment and quality of life objective. It relies on non-renewable resources that may become scarce in the future. So we look in reality this scenario. It's happened in any country or any a city or urban transport. What the cost that we face today from transportation development. Okay, continue. A paradigm refer to show people think about problems and develop solutions. Okay, this is why we try to look into a different perspective. We know we will face this kind of quite common issue, but we try to give some mitigation, or if not total solution, still we can improve what we have facing the problem just now or currently issue in the transportation matters. Okay, so better work smarter, not harder. We try to give some effective of the solution to be produced or to be proposed. Sometimes we need to think outside the box. Not really, mind-blowing or a very high sophisticated system of technology, but sometimes the creative idea we may solve the issue. Okay, paradigm shift need to achieve more sustainable transport. So that's our target. That's our target. We're looking at very sustainable and the transport that can give a better service, but at the same time, we're concerned about the problem and that give impact to our environment, our society, or transport users and others. Okay, what is a sustainable transportation? If we refer this World Bank definitions, sustainable transportations require using each mode for what it does best, which typically means a greater reliance on non-motorized for local travels, increase of use of public transit in urban areas, so reduction, but not elimination of personal automobile use. So if you look at these definitions, so there are some critical issue or something we need to highlight, especially for non-motorized, and also the public transport. But we still need some allocation, or especially for private vehicle. We still need to produce a private vehicle because our road shared with many type of road users. If someone is not affordable to have a personal or private vehicle, but they can still use other mode of transport. But some people they love to have their private vehicle or own personal vehicles. So this is also good for our industry, for our economic developments. But we still need to manage in order to achieve a better transportation system, especially when we focus on sustainable transportation. Okay, strategies are those that meet the basic mobility need of all and be sustained into foreseeable future without distractions of a local or planetary resource base. So this is what we're looking at. So we still have to maintain what we have developed, especially that give benefit to the society, to the community, to the public. But we have to maintain it to give sustainable to all parties or stakeholders. Okay, it requires balance, harmonious balancing of three elements. So we still need scope for economics and environment and equity. Okay, mobility is to be pursued in a manner of consistency with long-term environment protection and social fairness. Okay, a variant with a three P's. Okay, property, population, and pollutions. So we can combine all these elements to be balanced. So a different country maybe they focus on different the important issue. But still, in many countries, they have problem with the poverty, pollutions. Okay, especially for uh, third country, third world country, or developing country. What more for underdeveloped country? Okay, if you look at this kind of the uh, relation and the composition of the component for the sustainability. So we have our society and on the well-being, equality, and also we have economic equity, so economic development, vitalities, sustainable developments. So we know what so for environmental prevention and regeneration. So all this kind of the component. So we need to complement each other. So that's how sustainable transport looking into. Okay, objective of sustainable urban transport. The first, meet the demand for mobility. Okay, of course, if we need to maintain something to be efficient, to be better quality service, so we have to serve the demand. Okay, optimize use of resources. Okay, what we have in our land use or our budget, our infra. So we try to put at optimum to give a good quality and services to the users. Improve environmental qualities. So this one also we can avoid. We have to comply. So we also look at environmental issue. I think the last lectures we cover on EIA, environmental impact assessment, and also focus on TIA, traffic impact assessment. Okay, promote social harmonies. Okay, respect to each other, especially for non-motorized facilities, the need for them. So also we need to focus on safety, increase level of safety. So it's very rare to see, even in the developed nation, also they face the accident or safety in the traffic. But of course, they can well manage about the safety issue. So they have many strategies or many implementation to increase the safety for their transportation or road network system. Okay, the last one, realize the virtuous cycle of society, also economy, mobility, and environment. Or this put all together. So the previous or the list, the upper one is actually is combination. So we try to give better mutual relation with each other, especially society, economy, mobility, and environment. Okay, if you look at for the big components, so we have transportations that focus on high efficiency operations, multi-selectivities, easy accessibility for users, safety, smooth operation, and comforts. Okay, then we have also the resources. Then we have to protect also our environmentals. That's how urban sustainable transport covers. So not only on operation system, infra, and transport itself to be sustained, but also the others matters. The others matters. We have to look at. Okay, paradigm shift in urban transport planning. Continue. Conventional urban transport planners intend to accommodate increased transport demand with new constructions and major improvement of transport facilities, and also with efficient use of existing infra through various traffic insurance measures. So this quite common, and in the previous we are look into this kind of the scope. But later, of course, we go beyond, as we discussed before. We have to come to the smarter works, think out of the box. But this one is quite common that we practice in previous. That's what they call conventional. Okay, this demand following approach was found to be effective for some times. Yes, of course, we did implement that conventional management or sustainable staff ratio. But as motorization and further urbanizations proceeded, this approach has become ineffective. That's the issue come, and difficult to pursue both financial and politically. So then we face another challenge, regarding, of course, the big issue is financial, and other is the political will. Okay, if you look at this scenario, the vicious circle of congestion. Now, where does the issue of congestion come? Okay, when the congestion happen, so what in our thought, or what in our strategy? Of course, we try to expand our road, or increase or add more lane in terms of to have better capacity. That's very straightforward one. Okay, so the public pressure to increase the capacity, because obviously we look in terms of the traffic flow, the volume is increasing rapidly due to the congestion condition. Okay, movement are more easy. So when we start to increase the capacity, so the simple way, we add the lane or we upgrade the infra. Okay, we can have more capacity. Then of course, the movement going to be better. Okay, also urban sprawl is favored. So this the simple typical scenario. Okay, the average length of movement also increase. Okay, the number of the movement increase. So these are the situation when we try to use better capacity when we facing the congestion issue. Okay, but if look at this expert, what he says, the Professor Goodwin referred to underlying changes of transport policy. If we look at this approach, first one, predict and provide approach. So this one is quite conventional one. We predict to be happen, like the previous slide, we're talking about congestion issue. That's the simple one. So we have an issue. Okay, provide. We need to provide better capacity. That's the solution to be. But we have to change this one. We call it paradigm shift. To predict, but also prevent approach. So this is differ in terms of looking and at the a different perspective or this kind of the paradigm shift. So better we need to learn from the previous. Previous we look at the future situation. We provide. We hopefully our serve in providing the facilities, apply the facilities, we meet the demand, but that is not total solution. So we try to move into this approach. We predict, yes, we can predict, what would the demand or what would the future traffic growth situation in terms of the transportation planning. But at the same time, we want to prevent in order to manage or sustainable transport system. Okay, if you look at these urban policy options, okay, we have, okay, first one, the activity system, which is come from the transport, from the traffic, from the vehicle itself, from the demand from the flow. Okay, but at the same time, we look at the transport system, which is supply. So we provide the network, we provide the control system or management for the traffic or infrastructures. So, and also we do have international framework, especially for society, for the land use, for the surrounding to urban areas. So this one we cover for TSM. Okay, this part we cover for TDM. Okay, TSM is transport supply management. TDM is transport demand management. So these two different approach. So currently, next we need to discuss about transport system management or transport supply management. Okay, TSM, transportation supply management. Okay, TSM versus TDM. Okay, TSM measures to enhance capacity and throughput and traffic flow and operations. Also measure to restrain traffic flow and throughput. Represent strategy to improve efficiency of transport system operations, primarily utilizing ITS technologies to achieve more balanced distribution of demand on the system and over times. Okay, if you look at this TSM, TSM we deal with the parameter of transport itself. It is come from traffic flow, come from capacity, come from density, also the system to manage, especially to control the operations, to be efficient. That's how they use the ITS, intelligent transport system technologies, to give a better solution or to mitigate when come into the capacity, overcapacity, saturation of the flow. Okay, next, transport demand management. So it could varieties measures to reduce individual transport and change transport demand types. This one is looking into other scope. Represent strategies that encourage traveler to use something rather than other single occupancy vehicles or private transport. Travel at non-peak times or reduce or bundle discretionary trips. So from the TDM side or approach, they're looking into the mode of transport itself. So the objective to travel, we need to move from one point to other points, from origin to destination. But TDM, of course, focus on the mode of transport itself. Whereas if we can propose a better kind of the sustainable transport that focusing on non-motorized, and also the public transport itself, that's how they manage the transportation, differ from the TSM scope. Okay, okay, we back